It's the Skol Report with your host, the commish, Ryan Swenson.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Skol Report. And as you can see, we have a special guest with us this week. Welcome the defending champion, the owner, the GM of the Hash Oilers, Kyle Adams. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Skol Report.
Thank you for having me, Commissioner. You forgot league legend as well.
That is true. You are
reigning
also the league
scoring
legend.
champ as well.
Are there any other titles that you'd like to add?
No, I'll probably think of some along the way, but not at the moment.
All right. League legend, we're coming for you, but I don't know that it's going to happen because I think.
Yeah, is that possible? Have you done the math on that? Is it possible for somebody?
It would have required you to do really, really poorly this season, and
I'm off to an okay start.
People to do well. So there's still a ways to go, but it kind of looks like the Hash Oilers are probably heading towards another playoff trip.
Because if I don't retain the championship, I at least need to be the league legend in person at the next draft. I got no coronation. I got no in-person congratulations. I didn't get to gloat with the belt in person. It's garbage. I'm going to do that regardless.
Yeah, you really got screwed out of a lot of things. Kind of the champ really gets to reign over the rest of us at the draft, and we didn't really get that opportunity. We also didn't get the opportunity to see Jason eat the lutefisk.
Oh, gross! It looks like snot.
That's got to happen as well.
That's going to happen as well, and he's going to join somebody. Maybe he's going to be eating 2 helpings as himself, but
that could happen too.
I think we're going to have a new lutefisk this year, but let's dive in a little bit to how things are going here in Scully's 2 Football League through the first 7 weeks. First, I just kind of wanted to take a look back on some of the matchups from last week, because we were at a point where nobody had less than 2 wins, and this week some of those teams lost, so things got stretched out a little bit. Let's go into the first matchup, and it was Stacy versus Jason. This was a 2-4 team taking on a 3-3 team. Stacy was the 2-4 team, and I don't know if you were paying attention to the scores in this one, but that Bears Rams game on, I think it was Sunday night. Was that Sunday? Oh no, that was a Monday night game.
Monday night, yeah.
The Bears defense had, I think, an interception return in the second half of that game. I think even in the fourth quarter of that game.
I think you're right.
And that touchdown won the week for Jason. Stacy was leading before that point, and Jason needed a big performance from Cooper Kupp and the Chicago defense, and he got it from the Chicago defense. 11 points. It was crazy. Tom Brady almost put up 40 points this week for Stacy, and she got over 21 points from Antonio Gibson.
Touchdown every 9 times that he touched it at Memphis. They hand it to him underneath here, trying to get a big play to the edge. He's got space, and he's got speed inside the 10, inside the 5, and it's 1st and goal for Washington.
And comes up short. That's over 60 points from Brady and Gibson.
Tom Brady.
Brady has been, what a crazy offense that's been this year. Everybody was like, oh, they're going to be so good. He's got all these weapons and it's Brady. He's the best ever. But most people kind of thought, I don't know. I want to see it first.
Yep.
And Stacy still drafted him high.
She took him high, right?
Yeah. I think she got him in the 3rd round. And she was number 2 pick. So the 2nd pick of the 3rd round.
Yeah. Doesn't seem so silly now.
Before Matt Ryan, Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And yeah, exactly. It doesn't look silly at all. Tom Brady has been killing it.
Week 6, not too good. 15 points, 14 points before that. But then couple of 25, 35. I mean, he's as of late, and now he seems to have kind of rekindled that connection with Gronkosaurus.
Oh man, Gronk looks good all of a sudden. It's crazy.
He just had to get conditioned after a couple of weeks, and now he's kind of looking like the Gronk of old. But you do have Antonio Brown coming in there to compete with targets. So
who Jason slyly picked up.
Right.
I'm used to being the wire scourer during the week because I have lots of apps and I'm like all in on fantasy football.
Yeah.
I spend so much time thinking about it. So I'm used to being the first guy that gets on news like that. News that breaks, like Antonio Brown is going to sign, he's going to be back, and he's going to be catching passes from Tom Brady. I thought I was the first person on that news, and I go to pick up Antonio Brown, and he's already picked up by Jason.
Lie.
You bastard!
Maybe no double loot Fisk. Maybe Antonio Brown will come up big in the second half and help Jason string together some wins. I hope not, but
God, man, I hope not too. But honestly, it's not. It wouldn't be a surprise if Antonio Brown just comes right in after being out of the league for a year and a half.
No.
And just starts dominating. Like it wouldn't surprise me. I don't expect it.
We know him and Brady had a connection in New England for that brief amount of time they played together.
They did. He only played in that one game, and he had I think like 15 fantasy points in that game.
They were hooking
touchdown.
up. They were hooking up, man.
If he's still been working out, which everybody always said, like, if there's one thing that you can't say about Antonio Brown, it's that that he doesn't work hard. Like he goes so hard when he trains. Yeah. So if he's still been training that hard at home,
something tells me he'll make a difference. There are a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, so we'll see
for sure. So Jason's going to get Antonio Brown. Stacy's going to keep rolling with Tom Brady. She took a tough loss, drops her down to 10th overall in the league. And let's go to the 9th overall team in the league. This one was super close too. Al versus Corey. Al comes up just 3 points short. And this was another one that came down to Monday night.
Wow. 2 close games here, man.
Yeah, really close. Darrell Henderson and Nick Foles were going for Corey. And Al had a slim lead. It didn't look good. But then Nick Foles came out in that first half and just looked terrible. And he had hardly put up any points. And Darrell Henderson hadn't really done anything yet. And I started to think, oh man, Al might be able to pull this out. And Foles and Henderson put up just enough points in the second half to put Corey over the top, putting him up to 3-4, which he needed that big time. And Al drops down to 2-5.
And anytime you can pick up a W with a negative point slot in there with Jerick McKinnon getting a negative 0.10 and still pull together a victory. I know from experience this week that having a player with a negative score usually results in a loss.
Yeah, usually it does. We're going to get to that one soon.
So, wow. Yeah, that was a nice win, all things considered, for the half-baked halfbacks, the other marijuana-related team in the league. We are.
I'm surprised we only have 2.
Right.
Corey has 841 total points.
Mm-hmm.
That's looks to be about third from the last. Fourth. So he's 9th in points and 7th in standings. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Deshaun Watson has looked really good since Bill O'Brien got fired.
Yeah, more inspired for sure.
I'm going to kind of pull this up really quick. I think Bill O'Brien got fired after week 4 when they lost to the Vikings. That was 2 winless teams going up against each other. Vikings beat them pretty handedly, and Bill O'Brien gets fired. Deshaun Watson's points in those first 4 games, 21, 15, 18, 22. Since Bill O'Brien got fired, his point totals in the 3 games, 28, 36, and 27. It's so obvious that Bill O'Brien
had something to do with it, you think?
Yeah, he was obviously holding Watson back. The new play calling is helping. Watson probably feels like he has a little bit more liberty to do what he wants on the field.
Looks more comfortable. Yeah.
Doesn't have to worry about falling in line. Bill O'Brien was this really strict coach who wanted
morale
things done
seems better
a certain way. Yeah, absolutely. And, they've only won one game, but when your team's losing, you're throwing a lot. So Deshaun Watson's going to continue to contribute. And I think he's going to stay one of those top quarterbacks for the rest of the year for Corey. And that's really going to help him.
We shall see. I'm trying to look at what other kind of firepower he has here.
He's got Gronk.
Brady lofts it. Gronkowski. He's got it for the touchdown.
We were just talking about Gronkowski.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick Foles.
Oh, and Corey still this is the poor guy. Yeah, this is the poor guy who drafted number 1 and took Christian McCaffrey like everybody would have, and hasn't been able to get anything from him really. So when McCaffrey comes back, presumably next week,
different story.
This team really, now it's starting to be like the fact that he hovered to 3 and 4. That's pretty good. Now with CMAC coming back, it could get even better.
Potentially. Yep. I mean, the other running backs, in LA and San Francisco, it's always kind of hard to tell
for sure.
We'll see.
Henderson does seem to kind of be grabbing hold of the big workload in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But it's still one. Yeah. It's like what you said. It's one of those, you can't trust it. It seems that way.
And he's got Fournette on the bench.
The past few weeks, Henderson has been the guy that's gotten the most points, but I feel like any week that could all change. So
maybe swing a trade there. Half-baked halfbacks. The Hash Oilers are always listening. My inbox is open.
Oh, all right.
How the trashy Victors looking this season?
Man, things have been pretty bad for trashy Victor the second. CeeDee Lamb looked like he was going to be a league winner at the beginning of the season. He's a guy that people drafted at the end of their draft and looked like he was going to be a number 1 wide receiver.
Cowboys are tragic. What a tragic story.
His last 2 games, 5 points and 0 points. That's not going to cut it. And that's pretty much been the story for the Cowboys receivers in general.
Yes.
Since Prescott got hurt. Even with Dalton out there, I guess there's a little bit of optimism, but this past week he looked so bad and then gets hurt.
On 3rd and 10 against a 4-man rush, Dalton steps up, he tucks it and runs and slides and gets hit by Bostic.
Oof. I can't even think of their new quarterback's name.
DiNucci. Ben DiNucci.
Taking over the reins for Jerry Jones.
Oh man.
Good luck, Ben.
Can't help but feel like there's a guy named Colin Kaepernick that would suit them way better right now, and actually has similar play skills to Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how in shape that guy is now? I haven't kept in the loop with old Cap. So.
He said, going into this training camp time, he had said that he was in peak physical condition, ready to sign with a team that was willing to sign him, and nobody was. So maybe he wasn't really in physical condition. I don't know, but he could definitely be doing something in Dallas.
Be a cool story. Now. Be a cool story. Who knows? It was cool. I mean, who was it? The Thursday night game, the dude from the XFL came in for Teddy Bridgewater.
PJ Walker.
I remember watching that dude gunsling in the XFL.
Yeah, man.
I didn't realize he is playing in the league now, PJ Walker. And then he comes out and slings it on the first throw. I was like, all right.
I was hoping that was going to happen, that he was just going to come out and throw it. I assumed, though, that they were going to hand off. The fact that he took that deep shot with his first, that was so cool, man.
It's not often you find a black starting quarterback with a black backup too. That's probably pretty rare.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
He was the college quarterback at Baylor when Matt Rule, who is the head coach of the Panthers now, was the head coach of Baylor. So he's been the head coach of PJ Walker before. When he put up that great season in the XFL, the like 4 games or however many they played,
it was fire though for those 4 games.
Yeah. And so Rule's like, oh, well, I coached this kid in college. I know he's good. And I just watched him be really good on TV. So I'm going to go get him to be my backup.
Hell yeah.
It's a pretty cool plan. I like it. Teddy's not going to lose that job anytime soon, though.
No, Teddy. I was happy he only put up, the dozen or so points he put up last night. Sorry, John, but could have been worse because Teddy's looking like he can lead an offense for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
let's get into the next matchup. We had Let the Bodies Hit LaFleur. Ryan Jensen taking on Baker Mania, Mr. Christopher Baker, and Baker loses another one.
Ugh.
Drops down to 2-5. Jensen 153 points.
Calm down, Jensen.
In week 7. That was let me check. Yeah, that was the top score in week 7. He's really kind of firing on all cylinders right now. And even with a 0.0 on his starting team last week at the tight end position, he had 37 from Joe Burrow, who he drafted late.
Yep.
He had 32 from Carson Wentz, who he drafted mildly late. He always takes this approach in the Scully's league of I'm going to wait on my quarterbacks, and I feel like it's like a sink or swim thing. He either gets it right and ends up being a dominating team in the league, or he misses on the quarterbacks and ends up towards the bottom of the rankings.
Yeah, you might be right. And Joe Burrow is looking to be pretty legit, but you can afford for fucking Darren Fells to put up a goose egg when the KC defense gives you 22 points.
Up the middle they come. It's picked off on the play. It's Sorensen to the house. A pick six. Daniel Sorensen.
So
yeah,
that'll help.
I pulled up the draft board really quick. He took his first quarterback in round 6, and he didn't take his second quarterback until round 10.
Wow.
And meanwhile, every other team had 2 quarterbacks by round 8.
Man.
Except for John.
Well, we'll see if that strategy pans out in the long run. But so far, it's working out for Let the Bodies Hit LaFleur.
Yeah, he got 11 points from David Johnson. David Johnson, it's funny. He drafted him pretty high, and I was so just kind of out on David Johnson going into the year. I thought he was going to be the kind of guy who maybe he'd have a big game here and there, but he's going to get you a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And he's been the exact opposite. He's been the guy who gets you consistent, like 10 points every week and doesn't really get you anything other than that. So
right.
That's really good to have, especially at the running back position nowadays, where there's so much volatility. To have a guy who's getting you consistent, 16, 5, 10, 9, 10, 12, 11, like super consistent running back this year. And it doesn't look like his carries have gone down at all since Bill O'Brien left. So, the new offensive plan hasn't written him out yet.
So, I mean, David Johnson has been pretty consistent. Mike Davis has been good for him recently, but that honeypot is running empty pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
And, he's got Joe Mixon on his bench, who's out. He's got Dalvin Cook, who's questionable. He's got to hope these guys stay healthy, but I know how that goes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when all of his guys are healthy, he's got a really good.
Also, Jamal Williams is as well. So he's got a lot of these guys who are taking advantage of injury situations, which who knows how long that's going to last. So.
Yeah. Little bit of insight.
Could be trouble on the way for Let the Bodies Hit LaFleur, and that would be good for me.
Yeah, that'd be good for me too.
Because I've only lost to you two assholes.
Well, we are the top 2 teams in the league right now.
Exactly. So I shouldn't feel too bad.
Yeah. A little bit of insight for the rest of the league. When Joe Mixon was ruled out, I quickly picked up Gio Bernard, and Jensen, being the Mixon owner, wanted Gio Bernard and offered me Damian Harris in a trade. And I said, no, I'm going to start Gio Bernard in my flex this week. So I didn't take the trade. And Jensen ended up dropping Damian Harris to pick somebody else up instead. I think AJ Dillon. And then this week in the waiver wire, I picked up Damian Harris. So I got
how the cookie crumbles.
Gio Bernard, and then was offered Damian Harris, and then still ended up with Damian Harris anyway. I don't know if that's going to help me at all in the long run, but it was a funny little moment when I realized
he's getting
I ended up
opportunities.
getting both of them anyway.
Shit.
So
it works out sometimes.
Baker had Calvin Ridley who had a great game last week,
Mm-hmm.
but who suffered that injury last night.
He was shaping up to have a good one.
He was.
Had, 80, 90 yards at the time he had that injury,
It
fucking
sounds like it's not super serious, his injury, but
day to day right now.
yeah, it sounds like the kind of thing that he's at least going to miss a game, and he's probably going to end up missing a couple. And then it's one of those lingering injuries where you never quite know if it's going to get fully healthy or if he's going to re-injure it. So, bad times could be coming for Calvin Ridley, and he doesn't have a lot else at receiver.
Yeah. He's got a mid-foot sprain. They say it's likely that he's going to be out through the week 10 bye.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yikes. That's 2 games.
Landry's playing with a fucking broken rib or whatever.
Yeah.
Edelman. Yeah. And more inside information. I think I may have mentioned it to you. I was trying to swing a tight end a week or two ago when, all my guys were on a bye, and I was trying to swing OBJ in a package for Kelsey. I'd hit up quite a few teams to try to make a tight end deal, but Baker was thinking about it to the point where I was like, I may have to sweeten the pot a little bit, but then he ended up making the turned out to be smarter choice.
Yeah.
Because he wanted Odell, but if he would have made that deal and then Odell, the very next game goes down, even I would have felt a little bad about that.
Yeah, for sure. Could you imagine of having Odell and then Ridley go out in a 5-day span or a 4-day span?
No. So, but
and now I'm reading Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman today was put on IR.
Ooh.
I didn't even realize that he was going to be placed on IR. He has an injury that's apparently bone on bone. It would be a bigger concern if he wasn't so late in his career, but because he's 34, it's something that he's been put on IR for. Things are really crumbling for Baker.
Baker Mania has maybe run wild for the last time.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm going to peek ahead really quick and see that
Marvin Jones on the bench.
Yeah, and then Marvin Jones, he dropped him during the course of this week. For I can't remember who it was for, but I did see that he dropped Marvin Jones, and I thought, maybe he had to pick up a defense.
Right.
Picked up he dropped Marvin Jones. So Marvin Jones is out there.
You're right about that.
And was decent on Baker's bench in week 7, but wasn't enough to pick up the win. The 4th match of the week was Rudy really kind of coming back on and saying, yeah, I'm Rudy. I'm the guy who always does well in this league. Started out so poorly, and he's now up to 4-3 with a big 30-point win over Becca this week.
Calm down, Rudy. Calm down.
I think I want to see what streak is Rudy on.
Again, wins with a negative point performance from Chase Claypool. I could not get
really.
Yeah, puts up 146.
Oh wow, negative 1.2 from Chase Claypool. I didn't even
with a negative 1.2.
And he left Zach Ertz in his lineup, who was on IR.
I mean, that's unexcusable.
It is. And I remember him texting.
The gods gave you one here, Rudy.
Something about, I forgot about, because that was the Thursday night game.
Wow.
Last week. And he totally forgot to pull Zach Ertz out of his lineup.
Buffalo's D, Daniel Jones, Todd Gurley somehow scoring 19 points.
Yeah. Kyler Murray, almost 40 points. He's been a huge team MVP for Rudy. He's had 30 plus points in 4 games this year.
Murray had thought about playing baseball as he takes a snap on the 3rd and 2 and goes deep down the left side, and it's hauled in for the touchdown by DeAndre Hopkins.
So Mrs. Baker.
It wasn't a terrible game, but it wasn't enough to get a win. Jonnu Smith was deemed healthy and was supposed to have a great performance against Pittsburgh and just totally stunk. 0.9. And then Keelan Cole, I think that was probably a little bit of a desperation start for Becca. She didn't really have better options at wide receiver. And he only got 1.2.
It's a shame. Yeah, it hurt not having Nick Chubb. That was a dangerous pair. Kamara and Nick Chubb was a scary combination at the beginning of the year.
Oh, for sure. They looked like that was going to be the best combo in the league at the beginning.
Could be.
Of the year. Not anymore.
Andy
Dalton.
Rudy's boys picks up a big win there.
Yeah. Let's see. There's 2 more matches. There was, oh man, this one was another super close one that came down to the wire too. John GGEZ with a 3-point victory over Samantha, Fire for President 2020. John goes to 4-3. Samantha drops to 2-5. And I remember a 2-5 Samantha team last year
getting beat in the championship.
Suddenly put it all on and didn't stop and got to the playoffs and got to the championship game. So, I'm afraid to say anything negative about Samantha's outlook, but she is the 11th place team right now.
Knock on wood.
And she has been the Lutefisk before. So I don't know. Michael Gallup, total failure this week.
Not a success story.
And
won't be for the rest of the year with Mr. DiNucci.
He's been really interesting to me because it wasn't just Dak Prescott going down that affected Michael Gallup. He had one game where he had 138 yards and a touchdown, looked like a star in that game. Other than that, he's been nothing. And this is a guy who is supposed to be one of the best wide receiver 2s in the league coming into the season. And instead starts out the season and we go, oh, he's a wide receiver 3 on his team actually.
Right.
And then it's like, where is he? So he's just been nothing for fantasy, and that really sucks.
No. And she's got Lamar Jackson, who was on a bye, but has not been anything that really to write home about.
Yeah, that's been. I mean, he was the 3rd pick in the draft, and he's had a 28-point game, but then 2 crappy games, and then a 27-point game, and then another crappy game, and then a 29-point game. And then his bye. So
that's not what you want out of Lamar, though.
No, not the number 3 pick in the league. You should be getting 25 to 30 points from your quarterback if you're drafting him that high. And
precisely.
He should have been that guy this year. And just hasn't been. Kyler has been that guy.
She's got your favorite, Justin Jefferson, sitting on the bench during the bye week. So.
Caught Jefferson. Touchdown!
I look cute, boy. I look cute. I look cute, boy.
Yeah, and you better believe that I made a couple of
that was my next question.
Justin Jefferson, and it was a no-go. Even though he has not been a starter for her this year. His huge game that he had recently, he was on her bench.
Yeah.
I thought maybe, if you're not going to start this guy, then do you want Juju Smith-Schuster for him, who is, a name? She didn't. That's smart of her because I wouldn't have traded Juju for him either.
Good try, though. Good try.
Yeah, you never know if somebody might
sexy name Juju. Yeah.
Yeah. I still
TikToks or whatever.
He's the number 1 receiver on that team, right?
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson's the number 2 receiver.
Oh, it's just hard to roll together wins if you're gonna roll out, James White and McKissick as your 1-2 punch, But if it was a bye week, you got Aaron Jones is hurt. Hopefully he can come back.
I mean, her
soon.
bench is pretty stout, actually. Between Aaron Jones, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Jefferson, those are
people who can score
big
points.
Names that couldn't be in her lineup this week. So it could get better. That 2-5 that could improve, and we could see another run. I mean, it's not like her team is trash.
No,
see another little run from Samantha.
Still early. We're still about only just past the halfway point.
Yeah,
anything could happen now.
But John's
starting to look pretty good here.
Yeah, and John was worried about his team. I know, because injuries. Dak Prescott went out. Deontay Johnson has been dealing with injuries back and forth. Mm-hmm. I know he was worried, and I think things are starting to settle for him a little bit. And Le'Veon Bell coming to Kansas City hasn't affected Clyde Edwards-Helaire yet. But I don't know how much it is going to affect him.
Clyde looks good regardless.
I still think that he's going to get maybe he doesn't get as many opportunities, but I think he's going to turn those opportunities into just about as many points.
You see with an offense like when Nick Chubb was healthy and Kareem Hunt, with two dynamic running backs, both of them can be startable.
Absolutely, yeah. And both of those guys were startable, and now Kareem Hunt is like a superstar because people took him in like the 8th round, and now he's producing like a running back 1.
I worry a little bit about Nick Chubb eating into that, and he's not going to be have the same value he has now, but
that's true.
Still, when Nick Chubb comes back, that's going to be a welcome thing for. I think that was Becca's team who had Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've moved on to a different game.
John has that killer trio of young receivers: AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf. So cool, man! What an awesome trio to have.
And it was a low-scoring game here, so putting up 110 doesn't win a ton of games, and usually DK Metcalf isn't putting up 2 points. So you squeak by with a victory with 110 here. You feel good. Leaving Deontay Johnson's 20 points on the bench as well. Devontae Freeman going out and being injured and still being able to win. You got to be happy about that.
Kyle Allen ended up way outscoring Jimmy Garoppolo, and he still gets the win. So yeah, there was a lot that kind of went poorly for John this week, and he still pulled out the win. And honestly, I feel like almost every championship team can say that there was a game or two where they should not have won, but they did. And that win helped get them to the playoffs. And
a win's a win, baby. Come on.
Absolutely. His was another Monday night victory. I think they were like virtually tied going into Monday night. And John had Freeman and Montgomery and Graham Gano. And Samantha had... There was Evan Ingram. Or no, wait, that's the wrong game. Who are the Bears playing? The Bears are playing the Rams.
Yeah, LA.
I'm talking about the Bears and Giants, apparently.
No, wrong.
John had David Montgomery in that game, and that was it. And so he needed to get like 4 points from David Montgomery to win. And David Montgomery was looking like shit the whole game. And John got just enough yardage on like a late reception to put him over the top.
You got to love that. Squeaking out a tight one.
I don't know why I thought the Bears and Giants was the thing for a second there.
Marijuana affects the memory.
Giants and Rams have similar colors, I think, maybe blue and white.
Could be it. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, let's move on to the last game of the week.
Now let's skip this one and move on to the recap of week 9. We're going to move ahead here. God damn it.
Oh, man, this was great. Soft Tissue Issue continues their undefeated streak, putting up 150 points. Against the defending champion,
fucking James Robinson. What are these jokers doing, getting you these many points?
I got
this is criminal.
Lucky. If James Robinson hadn't gone to ISU, there's no way he would be on any of my fantasy teams this year.
We'll see how aggressive Illinois State gets here as Robinson tiptoes through a hole, and here goes James Robinson.
When week 1 was getting ready to start, and I found out that the starting running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars is some random guy from ISU,
Redbird.
I felt like, well, I'm going to drop one of my 4 quarterbacks and see what he does. And that first game, he put up 9 points and hasn't looked back. He's been so great.
I remember the draft. I was at Ryan Jensen's house, and I think it was like the last round, and I mentioned him. I was like, oh, that dude from ISU, what's his name? And Ryan was like, yeah, James Robinson. And if I remember correctly, he can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Ryan said something like, yeah, I'm not, I don't think he's going to be as successful. I'm more into Obahumba Goomba or whoever that guy's name was. I can't remember. I'm sorry, that was offensive. I don't remember his last name.
I don't remember his name either. No,
but he was the one who is projected to have a better chance than Robinson. But I was seriously considering picking him up. Like, let me throw a dart throw on this guy, but I didn't do it, and that was stupid.
Divine Ozigbo, I think. Is his name.
No
Yeah.
disrespect, Divine. You are a divine running back, but not that divine.
Yeah. Well, then
Right.
Reichel Armstead never came off the COVID list.
No.
And apparently is dealing with like bad complications of COVID and can't play all
scary.
year. So that, nobody saw that coming. So that was just another thing where this James Robinson story just kind of created itself.
Fell into your lap. Oh, man.
And so that was good. And then Devontae Adams, little insight on Devontae Adams. He shouldn't be on my team right now because Stacy should have accepted a trade that I offered her.
What?
Of Jared Goff and Devontae Adams for Patrick Mahomes. She didn't do it.
Wow.
And I'm sure other people wouldn't do it either, but probably the top wide receiver in the league and a decent quarterback.
But she was supposed to do it and she just decided not to.
No, she just didn't. She just didn't want to do it.
Got you.
I'm saying that it should have happened because I think that she should have taken the trade, and I think it would have been better for her team long term. Yeah. I posted a poll on Twitter and said, in a redraft league, Superflex, what would you prefer? And I posted the two sides, and it was 91% Adams and Goff.
Wow. Stacy, I needed
Patrick
you to
Mahomes,
take
man.
that trade.
She loves Patrick Mahomes. So
I tried to pry Kittle away from her, and she wasn't even. It was like she was the first one to reply because I sent out like 8 trades, and right away it was like bloop. I was like, "Ooh, someone got back," and Stacy has denied the trade. All right, moving on to the next one.
Stacy does get back to you on trades really fast, but it's always a rejection because if Stacy drafted somebody, she loves that person and she doesn't want to let them go. Like that's part of the
fun of fantasy.
She forms a connection with these players at the draft and hopes to see them excel on her team. And guys like Antonio Gibson have, and it's been cool.
Yeah. So she didn't get Devontae Adams, and in fact you did.
And I got 36 points from him this week. Devontae Adams and Jared Goff combined for 54 points this week. Sorry, Stacy, that would have won you the week. Cam Newton, man, negative 0.18.
I thought even as Devontae Adams was slowly diminishing my chances of winning this week, a week I really wanted to win. I really wanted to hand you your first loss and just like reassert my dominance upon the league and really cement myself in second place. And just at the very least, if that didn't happen, Jensen would lose and I would stay in second. None of it happened. I lost in the other league too. Everything sucked.
It was a bad week.
It was a bad week for the Hash Oiler Kush dynasty connection, and Cam Newton is a huge part of that. So is Odell Beckham making just a bonehead move, trying to tackle a guy on an interception. What are you doing, man?
I mentioned to you that Odell Beckham Jr. made the tackle on the interception thrown by Baker Mayfield. He was injured at the end of that play, kind of leaping in the air. Look at 13 here. Jumps up. And Odell Beckham has gone into the locker room. We don't know the nature of the injury, but Odell Beckham out of the game for the moment.
Why are you trying so hard, Odell?
Come on. Well,
he's the type of receiver who, if he didn't try to chase that guy down, nobody would have batted an eye. They would have been like, "Oh yeah, Odell, he didn't chase after the guy. It's nobody. That's what he does."
I scared the shit out of my cats when that happened. I was like, "You fucking idiot!" I was watching the Red Zone channel and they show that play, and I'm like, I cannot believe it was on an interception, and he's out for the year, and I almost traded him. I was just like, and I thought I even with Devontae Adams having the game of his career, I had Cam and I had the LA Rams defense coming up later, and I thought there's still a chance. It wasn't the projections didn't have me completely out of it. And it's as soon as that Patriots game started, I guess I consider myself an empath. I can pick up on energies, and even from McChesney Park, Illinois, I could pick up on Cam Newton's energy, and I knew I could just see the look in his face. I was like,
man.
This is Cam. You're being a baby. You look like you're pouting. It's not going to be good. And I just had a gross feeling. And every time he threw the ball, I was like, no, this is going to be trash. And I turned it off before he threw his first pick. And I was like, he'll probably throw 4 more. I'm done. I didn't even know he got benched like until the next day. And I was just like, oh, fuck, he got benched too. This is horrible. But I knew I was out, and what are you going to do? You know, again, like you can't get a goose egg from Odell and negative points from one of your fucking quarterbacks in a 2-quarterback in a super flex league. You're not going to win 9 times out of 10, but.
And you got great points from other places on your team too, which that's what sucks about it. You know, there's other teams in the league that if you'd been playing them this week, you'd have won. You had a great performance from DJ Moore, Derrick Henry, and Kareem Hunt combined for 30 points for you.
Yep.
Logan Thomas was an awesome start at tight end.
Dart throw tight end.
Yeah.
I was debating pulling my hair out whether I wanted to go with Dick Rod in the Thursday night game, and then he ended up getting like 60 whatever yards, and I'm like, oh fuck, I made the wrong call. And then Logan Thomas ends up finding pay dirt for me, and the LA Rams D, who's been really consistent for me all season, gives me 16 points all for naught.
Yeah.
You know, I finally was able to kind of cash in on that Stafford Galladay stack, which has not really been beneficial for me all season, but I'm telling you, since I'm the guest on the show and I've got a platform to put myself over here. And this is what I told Baker when I was trying to deal a trade with him. When he denied it, I was like, fine, but I'm just trying to help you all out, because it's going to be an embarrassment of riches if guys like Austin Eckler and Raheem Mostert and Miles Sanders are all healthy at the same time. And then a guy like Dallas Goedert comes in, and I start penciling him in. And if all these guys are healthy at the same time, it might not happen, knock on wood. But if it does, you guys better run. Like it's gonna be a bloodbath, and that's just what I got to tell myself to make myself feel better. But
honestly, I mean, you're not wrong. Your bench does look.
I was a little surprised that Eckler was out there just to grab, and I'd seen him for several days, and finally I was like, fuck it, I'm picking up Eckler. Like he's gonna play again this year, you know, and he was just sitting out there on the waiver wire for several days. So
I don't even
remember who drafted him. I don't know who it was, but
I'm going to look really quick because I don't remember.
I had it in my head when I picked him up. I was like, that could win me the league right there. If I hold on to Eckler and he comes back and gives the value that he was drafted at, and he's sitting on my bench and someone just dropped him.
Al took him in the second round.
Yeah. And if he comes back in week 10, 11, and I don't know, it's kind of a big question mark, because you're not getting a lot of information on his injury. So I tend to think it's probably not good news, but
I mean, Yahoo's latest update does say the coach, Anthony Lynn, says he will be back later than sooner.
Right.
Which, I mean, who knows what the hell that means, but
even if it's just for the right in time for the playoffs,
it's not sooner than later. Like, so
if he's there for the playoffs and that's it, it's a win for me.
Absolutely. You know? Because as soon, if he's back, then he's instantly he's instantly like an RB1.
Right.
He's going to get the opportunities. He's going to get action in the passing game.
That's why I'm hoping right when Nick Chubb comes back and eats a little bit into Kareem Hunt's value is right when I'll get Eckler back. And, and if the fantasy gods smile on me, that's what'll happen. But they haven't been grinning that large at me so far, but I still do have a 5-2 record here.
Yeah.
So,
and you were the second best
leading
in the league going into, you only had one loss going into last week. So yeah, I mean, your team definitely took a hit, but like you just said, you've got a lot of players on your bench.
If I would have lost to anybody else besides you, I would have been like, you know, I'm not as upset about this. My team is still elite. I'm still going to win my division. I'm fine. But I lost the soft tissue issue, who I just wanted to hand their first L to so bad.
I cannot believe.
Especially after you snagged Rodrigo from me, and I'm really bitter about that.
Oh, it was so good, man.
I also tried to pick up Gio minutes after you did. I was debating who to drop, because I was like, I don't want to drop any of these guys, but I'm going to have to drop somebody because I think Gio's going to fucking play. And then as soon as I decided who it was like, he's gone. And I'm like, he already took Rodrigo from me. So I'm bitter, but that's the game, you know?
Oh, definitely. I
respect you, but I hate you. That's what it is.
Good. I finally earned your respect in the fantasy world.
Oh, no. Yeah, exactly. Finally.
The thing with Rodrigo Blankenship, I'm just going to throw this out there for other people in the league. If there's a player who's on bye, then they're available to be picked up while games are still going on the week before. So, for instance, the Colts were on bye this past week. So Rodrigo Blankenship was on bye. And on Monday, there's still a game to be played. So the week is still going on. But because the week is still going on, Rodrigo Blankenship, who is on bye, is available to be picked up.
I didn't even think about it.
So I dropped one of the players that was on my bench that had already played and picked up Rodrigo Blankenship for next week. It was kind of a sneaky little way to get him before we have to deal with the waiver wire. So if a player is on bye and you're thinking about picking him up, do it before waivers will happen.
Or don't. Just make the decision to play it safe and don't do it. That's also a road you could take.
That is definitely a road you could take. That's not the road that I took, and now I have the Goggle Master.
Or run it by me first. Send me a message and say, hey, do you think this is a good pickup? And I'll be straight with you.
Rodrigo Blankenship, what do you think? I'm going to
try to negotiate a trade right live on the air right here. I want to get Rodrigo. I'll send you the services of Mason Crosby. He's healthy as an ox. He's looking like a surefire bet to play this week. He is not questionable at all. LaFleur is not unsure about him. He does not have calf and back issues.
Oh, all right.
And the weather is going to be beautiful.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll think about it then, because Rodrigo Blankenship, he's coming off a bye, so he's rested. He's been performing very well.
Right.
He's playing inside of a dome this weekend.
What if I threw in a little Logan Thomas action? I think I
if
dropped him.
I'm not going to start.
I think I actually dropped him. I don't own him anymore. I have somebody else on my team. I don't even know, because I'm going tight end streaming now until Dallas Goedert comes out. I got Trey Burton, Boo Boo.
Oh, Trey Boo Boo. He might have a good game this week.
He will. Trust me. He's going to ball out. He's going to get me the victory.
Here's a touchdown for you
over GG this week. I can feel it. But anyway, Ryan, you won. You're undefeated. You're going to fall eventually.
I am. I will. I will eventually, and hopefully
I think your team's good, but it's not that good. All right. I think you've backed into a couple wins here, and I think
the team's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
My draft was pretty hot. I think I set myself up for success in the draft, and then I continued it during waiver period by picking up guys like Travis Fulgham.
The rest of us are saying Fulgham. Just Fulg yourself.
Go Fulgham yourself.
Yeah, Fulgham. When guys like that, I mean,
sometimes you got to know when to hold them, and sometimes you got to know when to fold them. All right.
Oh, so I mean, should we look forward to next week a little bit here? Like, who do you got? Who's going to handle your first loss here?
Let's do it. Well, this week I've got Stacy, and
Stacy.
I am projected to get the win this week, but I had Robbie Anderson go last night in Thursday night's game and only 4.8 points. So I'm already starting out lowering my live projection. That's never a good thing.
Right.
And Stacy's got Traquan Smith, who's one of the only healthy receivers in New Orleans right now. Right. And the last time this happened, Traquan Smith put up a huge game for Stacy. He got 2 touchdowns.
Oof.
So I'm a little nervous about that. But I think I'm going to take this one out. Jonathan Taylor gets reinserted in my lineup this week, and I'm excited about that.
She's got Pat Mahomes going against the Jets.
That's true. I didn't think about that. This could be, the thing about Mahomes is, I tried really hard to get him in a trade, and then he had back-to-back poor games fantasy-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, thank God Stacey didn't accept that trade. But this could be a game that gets him back up in that 30-40 range.
Yeah.
He came out 2 weeks ago and said, I don't know who he said it to, but he said it to somebody in the media that I haven't been listening to coach enough. I keep trying to do things on my own, and I need to just take a step back, and I need to listen to coach.
Mature.
And then the next game, he only threw for 225 yards and only had 20 fantasy points. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a big game. And then the following game, he only had 200 yards passing and only 13 fantasy points. But both of those games, they scored 26 and 43 points. So if I'm the Patrick Mahomes owner, I'm a little nervous that this team is so good and they're so well balanced that he now realizes he doesn't need to be Superman for them to get a win.
Right.
And he might do the mature thing, be the game manager, not game manager, but the leader, and lead his offense the balanced way that it has been.
Yep.
And get 18 points, 17 points, 21 points. That could happen.
Yeah.
But also he's Patrick Mahomes. So,
and that's the big positive there on the pack that ass up side. You know, if I'm making picks here, I don't want to, but I got to give it to the soft tissue issue. Is this your set lineup here that you're firing away with Travis Fulgham and your flex there slotted in?
I might put Gio Bernard in there. I've been waiting to hear on Mixon. He hasn't practiced this week, so I don't think Mixon's going to play. If Mixon doesn't play, then I'm probably going to throw Bernard in there, but I am a little worried about the Tennessee defense, who isn't, they don't give up a ton of points to the running back position, but they also don't give up a few. So they're kind of one of those middle teams. So I don't know.
There's got to be some regression with Devontae Adams this week. Just a matter of physics. What goes up must come down.
But he is going against the Minnesota Vikings defense, and they're going to be without their top 2 corners this week.
Yeah.
So
I'm predicting the undefeated streak to reign for now. I want to look ahead here a little bit. I want to see, just like we're looking ahead in the real NFL at the Jets, and I don't think they're gonna get a win. I saw something on Twitter that was like a montage of NFL players, and it was like it says the text said how many teams will the Jets beat this year, and then all these NFL players are just going nobody. But let's see. Who do you have in the future here? I'm trying to see here.
I've got next week. I have Corey, who is 3-4.
Right.
The following week, I have Al, who is 2-5.
I'm waiting for you and Jensen to square off. Has that happened already?
Week 11, baby.
Week 11.
It's going to be soft tissue issue taking on Let the Bodies Hit LaFleur. So that could be. I'm not going to say out loud that could be my first loss, because I could lose to anybody. But that could be a game that kind of decides how our league is going to kind of fall down. There's only going to be 2 regular season games left after me and Jensen play. And right now we're separated by 2 games.
Right.
So if we go into that game separated by 2, then I could really stretch myself to a point where he could not catch me. And that'd be cool for me.
Interesting. Not cool though. What other matchups are we looking forward to next week?
There's some good matchups this week. I'm trying.
We do have the second place team. Let the Bodies are going against going against Jason here.
Yeah, Jason, the 4-3. If it's Harry Shave It, I changed it. I get to say it differently because he fixed the spelling of it to make a little more sense this year. If it Harry Shave It, taking on Let the Bodies Hit LaFleur, and Jason has been a real surprise this year. At least to me, it's been surprising because I feel like he's doing a pretty damn good job this year, and I wasn't expecting it from Jason.
He's always, aside from that Lutefisk gear, he was the legend, right? I dethroned the legend.
He was at one point. You dethroned.
Who did I dethrone?
John.
I did.
I think John took it over for 1 year.
Right on.
I actually have oh no, I don't have that. Never mind. I have a League Legend thing somewhere. I think
I am the Legend Killer.
Yeah, Jason was the League Legend in the first season, second season, and third season, I think. Maybe Al took it over in the third season for 1 year. But he is number 5 right now in the League Legends standings. He dropped 3 spots last year for that poor performance.
The mighty have fallen.
Yeah. So, but he's looking pretty good this year, and he's got Russell Wilson going against San Francisco this week. That could be a tough matchup for Russ.
Yeah.
but that could also be kind of a high scoring game for Seattle. So they've also he's got Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, but Tyreek, and I mean, I don't know.
Adam Thielen, like he's definitely got the players. He's got the opportunity to score lots of points this week. I don't know if it's going to be there. Jensen on the other side, Carson Wentz has been really good lately.
Yes.
Maybe not really good as far as NFL terms go.
No.
I think some people in NFL circles would say he's been better. He's been all right. But in fantasy circles, he's been awesome. He's been a guy that you would have drafted high. And he didn't draft him high. So that's been huge. And they're going against Dallas this week.
Poor Dallas.
So, and I want to say his name right. Jalen Reagor has returned to practice in full. Mm-hmm. So he's getting another weapon back. Carson Wentz could really have a big game this week. He's had 2 30-point performances back to back. Couldn't make 3 in a row.
He did have Mike Davis go already. Did not, go off, but 7, just under 8 points is okay. Amari Cooper's value has plummeted with old DiNucci he might be a bit of he's still going to get targets. I mean, but you gotta trot him out there with your other options. So Deebo Samuel, he's out again.
Yeah, Deebo's out again. Yeah. And he just came back and then now he's out again.
Right.
Tough.
We shall see. Like we talked about him, Ryan's squad in the recap of this past week. And there could be troublesome seas ahead. We shall see.
There could be. Who else is playing this week?
Well, we've got
Samantha taking on Al.
That's a matchup.
This is kind of the bottom of the barrel matchup. 2 teams looking to put the other one further down below them. Obviously, these teams aren't out of it. There's still a lot of games to be played.
Not yet, no.
But if I'm one of these 2 and 5 teams, my mentality going into this game is I want to make sure I win because I want to knock that team down closer to the Lutefisk. I don't want to worry about the Lutefisk. If I get up to 3 and 5, I'll feel better about the way things are shaping up as far as the Lutefisk goes.
Yeah, and this matchup is projected to be very close.
Yeah,
right
really
now,
close.
And you can take those projections for what they're worth, but they're fun to measure, kind of the future by. And looks like a good game, not too high scoring here, but you never know. With
this matchup is pretty interesting to me because the quarterbacks on both sides are dominant forces.
Rodgers, Tannehill, Herbert, Jackson.
They know those guys are going to get them points. They're excited about those guys. And their receiver or their running backs, their running backs are like total question marks on both sides in this matchup. J.K. Dobbins, who, if Mark Ingram does not play, he could have a decent game, but also he's going to share the backfield with Gus Edwards.
Yep.
LaMichael Pirine. Oh God, I don't want to trust any New York Jets running back.
No.
Unless I really have to, and she has to.
You got to trot him out.
And then on the other side, you've got Jermichael Hasty, who was an undrafted free agent, is like 4th in line in San Francisco. Yeah. It's only there because of injuries. And Malcolm Brown for the Rams, who's been, we talked about it earlier, part of that kind of questionable mishmash of running backs.
You'd rather have Henderson there, if you got to take one of them. So I don't know. This is a tough one to predict. I might throw my eggs in Al's basket here. Just it's tough.
It is. I think I'm slightly leaning in Samantha's favor in this matchup, only because I think Brandon Ayuk is going to have a big game this week with Deebo Samuel being out.
Yeah.
And
that could be a difference maker.
Getting 16 or 18 points from a guy like Brandon Ayuk might be what wins a matchup like this. But
Man,
there's
that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Be watching out for that
question
one.
marks in this matchup, and this is going to be the type of matchup that we're not really going to know what's going to happen until, the morning games are over on Sunday.
Right.
And a bunch of these players have gone, and we've been able to see, okay, yeah, they sucked, or wow, yeah, they did have a big game. This matchup's going to be real interesting. I'm going to be following it all day on Sunday.
Keeping an eye on that one.
Yep,
and then we
for sure.
we got the halfbacks and Mrs. Baker.
Oh yeah,
squaring off.
This is another 2-5 taking on 3-4.
Two kind of middling squads.
Yep.
Trying to get into a higher tier.
And this is another one where the running backs have been really, for both teams have taken a hit. But Becca does have Alvin Kamara still going, and that could kind of prove to be what sets her apart. The Saints are playing Chicago this week, and I would not be excited about my running back going to play the Bears defense. But
when you don't have much running back firepower behind that guy,
yes,
it's a tough position to be in.
Yeah. And on the other side, Corey, he's got McKinnon, who we're not sure what his role is going to be. There was a report that came out today that he's been battling, I think they said tired legs.
Oh, that's never good as a running back.
Well, he just had 2 years off and hasn't really played at all much this. Like, I don't know why his legs would be tired. So I'm really nervous about McKinnon this week, even though he's healthy and is going to play. I don't know how much action he's going to see.
I don't know. And then, you got.
Yeah, what else you see on this one?
I mean, I'm trying to see who I'd pick here. I mean, we've got Mrs. Baker projected 56% chance here to take the victory. Matt Ryan got you under 20 points. You always want with Ridley and Jones both healthy. Matt Ryan can put up close to 40.
Oh yeah.
So that's a little bit under projections.
It's interesting to see how close he actually came to the Yahoo projection number though.
Right.
Just because
exactly
like 0.09 away from. So the Yahoo got that
Yahoo's
pretty good.
Very smart on that. Very smart Yahoo.
Very rarely.
It's tough. I think I like Drew Brees better than old Phil Rivers.
Yeah.
And I might give the Keenan Allen I like as well. And then having Kamara, I think I might go advantage here, Mrs. Baker.
This game might come down to, they both have players going, or no, actually Becca doesn't. Corey has a lot of players going on Monday.
True.
But I was noticing that Sunday afternoon, in the afternoon slate, is the New Orleans Chicago game. And that's when Kamara and Breeze are going to go for Becca, and Nick Foles is going to go for Corey. So with Foles and Breeze going against each other in the same game in the afternoon on Sunday, that could be something that we see,
True.
One team was way up after the morning games and now they're way down. Or Nick Foles could have a great, huge game, surprisingly, and outperform Breeze and totally turn the tables for Corey. That. So that's going to be a pivotal game in this matchup, is that Bears Saints game.
All right. And then what else is there? Did we do Baker and Rudy?
We've not. There's 2 games left. Baker and Rudy.
Yeah, Baker and Rudy.
So
he's got, he had the unfortunate Baker, unfortunate Calvin Ridley getting pulled with that, only giving him a 420. That was a good joke. That's underperforming for Calvin Ridley. So, but Curtis Samuel, on the other hand, wow, you don't expect to get a 17 spot from Curtis, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown.
And I want to check really quick. I feel like Baker just recently added Curtis. Yeah, he did. Yesterday afternoon before the game,
wow.
Baker dropped Julian Edelman.
Slid him in
after he got that news and was like, I guess I'll pick up Curtis Samuel, and instantly slides him into the starting spot, and voila. A really good decision.
That does kind of even out the underwhelming performance from Calvin Ridley a little bit.
Oh, for sure. If you had said that Calvin Ridley got 10 and Curtis Samuel got 11,
Right.
you
You'd be
would
happy with
say,
that.
oh,
You'd
wow,
take it. You'd
awesome,
take
really
it.
great. 21 between those two. So
Yeah.
I would be excited.
Zeke is interesting. He hasn't been performing like Zeke this year. A lot of people consider Zeke kind of a trade candidate in fantasy world. So that's something to think about, Baker. You might want to reach out, see what kind of value you can get.
I saw somebody on Twitter post that they traded in a redraft league like ours. They traded Ezekiel Elliott straight up for James Robinson.
I mean,
and then when I read it, my initial reaction was like, that's crazy. And then I thought, and I was like, actually, it's not that crazy.
He's not
James Robinson looks like a legit stud for the rest of the year, at least. Maybe not next year, but for this year, yeah.
You think about you've got a nobody quarterback in there now. You think that this would benefit Zeke because they're just going to have to feed him the ball. What else are you going to do? But I've heard from most experts that it's like this hurts his value in the long run because it's just like they're going to key in on him. There's nothing, and he's not really excelling right now. So
yeah, he himself is not performing to his top level, and
so that hurts Baker a lot. If you think if Elliott's performing to his full capability, and you got a guy like Ridley performing like he was, you can start to string some wins together there too. And oh boy, but he's going up against Rudy, who had a good game out of Julio Jones, who took advantage of Ridley leaving early and put almost 200 yards up or whatever he did. And
oh man, if our league was PPR, man, Julio Jones had a ton of catches.
Yes,
he would have a lot of points.
Just getting blanketed with targets there,
and then Gurley getting that touchdown late in the game,
doing his Gurley thing. Just doing nothing and then getting a 1-yard touchdown for you. And he's not going to keep getting away with it. Something's going to give here with Todd Gurley. Stop doing this.
He has 8 touchdowns through 8 games. Todd Gurley does.
He's got the most touchdowns in the league right now, doesn't he? Running backs?
He's probably,
Is that verified?
Up there. I don't know for sure.
What the fuck is that?
Man. I guess we should have seen the opportunity for Todd Gurley to do something this year coming.
I did. I mean, in our dynasty league, I paid up for him, and I knew I thought that he was going to score touchdowns, but I didn't think it this many to justify.
Yeah.
So
and he hasn't really. The problem is that he hasn't really had a lot of yardage. It's
not
touchdowns, but
that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and then in this game,
I don't think it's going to keep up
on Thursday, where he's in front of a national audience, and we all get to watch it, and we all get to see and hear the commentators constantly talk about him standing on the sideline for extended periods of time. And it
seemed I don't know what they did Thursday night. If that's going to be a thing they do now, because I mean, we were talking before we recorded, like what we wondered if Todd Gurley was injured because he was barely getting carries, but then all of a sudden in the second half or in the third quarter or whatever, late, they start feeding him the ball and he's running very productively. So it's like maybe they figured out like rest this dude's legs in the first part of the game, and then when we really need to start stuffing the ball down their throat, let's give it to Gurley when he's fresh. I don't know how good that will be for fantasy purposes.
Yeah,
but
not very good usually, because you're really relying on hitting on one of those fewer opportunities that just suck. At the running back position, it's opportunity. You want,
the more they give the ball to
your guy to touch
Brian Hill or whoever else, the more opportunities he's going to get to vulture you.
Yeah, if Hill gets 9 rushes or whatever, then that just really eats into the Gurley value.
So Baker's projected to win this game by about 10, 15 points. Yep. And I don't know.
This matchup has had the most action already go down in the Thursday night game.
Joey Sly.
3 players on one side and 2 players on the other.
Like Kelsey here. I mean, Connor and Elliott.
Kelsey I really like. And then I'm really intrigued by Lev Bell.
Me too.
Going up against his old team that Lev Bell hates Adam Gase so much. He hates that man with all of his will, and he gets to go up against him in his first game with his new team.
I like slotting him in for this game.
He might suck.
He might, but there's vengeance on his mind. If I'm picking, I'm going Baker here. I'm
I
not
am too.
inspired by Sam Darnold on the other side here for Rudy's boys. Gesicki is a big question. I let him go. And I was very much considering bidding high to get him back because I had a tight end quandary, and I'm like, I still believe in Gesicki. I think he's an incredible athlete. He runs a million routes, and it could turn out that Tua is a huge upgrade for him, or it could turn out it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And I decided this week that I'd rather deal with whoever I picked up, Trey Boo Boo, than Gesicki, and Rudy is rolling the dice on that. So we'll see if it works out for him. I'd rather have Kelsey in this situation.
He's got the Myles Gaskin, Mike Gesicki Dolphins combo going in this matchup.
Let's see if he'll sink or swim.
Yeah, that's definitely a situation where you're
Baker
risking
could be
it.
the shark in this
risk and reward here, going with
right.
2 Dolphins.
And Baker's been slinging it. So the actual quarterback Baker, not the fantasy manager Baker. So I'd pick Baker Mania in this game.
Me too. I think he's going to get back up to 3-5, and really muddy things up with a lot of teams at 4-4 and 3-5, and it's going to be good.
Now talk about a closely projected match here in the defending champs up against GGEZ here. A 50-50 dice roll here, according to the Yahoo projections. You gotta love that. I'm not sure if my lineup is what it's going to be here. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be taking a chance on Crosby. Interestingly, though, both of our kickers are questionable right now.
Oh, that is interesting.
But he did have Teddy go, and I consider that a win. Teddy only getting 13 points there, and DJ Moore went on my side, who was pretty much doing conditioning for most of the fucking game. I thought people were filing missing persons reports for this man. Where was DJ Moore? I was pulling my hair out. I was like looking at the screen, like trying to find 12. I was like, is he even on the field? And there I kept finding him. He's just out there sprinting, just running, just doing conditioning. And I'm thinking I'm going to get a goose egg for this guy. Odell gave me a goose egg last week. If he gives me a goose egg this week, I'm probably going to lose. This is not a good sign. And then like the fantasy gods out of nowhere on the last drive of the football game on 2 catches gives me like 6.5 points or whatever it is. So that felt like a win to me, even though I had about 22 points out of DJ Moore last week. So of course I'm going to pick myself to win this game, but I'm interested to see who you project looking at the lineups here.
Well, I'm nervous about Cam, to be honest with you.
Oh God, man.
After what happened last week and missing time because of COVID and going up against the Buffalo defense this week.
And I knew this with Cam, and I decided to just like completely buy in both of my leagues, and I decided to live or die by Cam Newton, kind of like I did with Jameis Winston last year, thinking, this is going to work out for me. And
Jameis worked out big time last year.
It absolutely did. And Cam for a while here was looking like I was a genius.
Yeah,
and
he started out the season in 25 points and 38 points in our league.
And then this COVID bullshit, and he's like, I never felt symptoms or whatever, and it has nothing to do with my playing. I don't know.
Well, something's happening with your playing because you look like shit out there now, Cam.
He didn't even try to run the ball last week. I mean, if that's the thing, like if
he looks tired, he just looked like he was just
sluggish, uninspired, not having fun. And I feel like I'll know as soon as the dude takes the field. Like if there's not that energy about him, like I'm going to win a fucking football game. My job is on the line here, like he's been saying in the press and everything, which is why, I mean, I'm on the show, so I'm giving a little inside info. Like he's been someone I've tried to see if people are interested in trades or at least packaging him in on other things. But I'm a huge fan of Cam. And like you said, with Stacy, I have an emotional connection to this guy. He's always been one of my favorite NFL players.
Yeah.
I've always wanted him on my team in this league, and I don't want to give up on him. And, but this is the make or break game. If he comes out and balls out and shows the image, Bill Belichick sprinkles some magic on him somehow, and he starts running the football a little bit, then I think this could be the writing, the make or break for not just Cam, but for my season. Like if I can't find value in another quarterback if Cam is not good, and I can't get, there's slim pickings out there as far as quarterbacks in this league. So unless I can swing a trade or whatever while he still has some value, even with all of my embarrassment of riches and of unhealthy running backs right now, Cam could be the deal breaker for me. So I'm willing to see that writing on the wall for sure.
Well, and if John pulls this win out this week, he moves to 5-3, and you drop to 5-3.
I can't afford that.
And then suddenly you go from being in second by yourself to now being in a tie for fourth.
Yeah. I'll say it on the Skol report. I'll quit the league if that happens. I'll resign. I don't want to. If I lose this week, I quit. This is bullshit. I'm not going to lose.
This is a retirement match this weekend.
2 Swensons in a row is not happening. Let me make sure I'm not facing Al or Stacy next week. I can't face a Swenson 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, who is your matchup next week?
I don't know. Let's see.
Baker. It's okay.
Week 9. Oh, Baker. I love playing Baker.
You do.
Knock on wood, though. I don't want to get too cocky.
Let's check out the overall head-to-head between Kyle and Baker. Kyle is 7-1 all time against Baker.
Let's keep it 8. Let's keep it 8-1. But no, John's got a scary team here.
He does. I actually think I'm leaning a little bit in John's favor.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that.
And honestly, it's because I think despite his lackluster performances lately, I think Jimmy G is going to have a good game against Seattle. They've given up a lot of points to quarterbacks. And then I think Cam's going to struggle again.
Oh God, I hope
that's going to be the narrative. I feel like is kind of the quarterbacks in this matchup. If Cam does bounce back, then I could easily see you winning this one.
It's funny how it's all about Cam on my team right now.
It's really, like it feels that way
with a running quarterback that's not running and not throwing efficiently and has no accuracy. It's like there's oh boy, but he could still be an MVP kind of guy, and that's what I'm praying for it. John is praying for the opposite, and we'll see, because I'm Teddy could have gone off for a lot more, so I'm grateful for that, and we'll see. We'll see on Sunday and Monday.
Yes, we will. So that was the last matchup of week 8.
I feel like I made the show way longer. I hope that the league sticks it out and watches the whole episode. We've got some good content here.
Well, they better put it on Saturday. While you're sitting around at home, or wake up Sunday morning and put it on before the games. Screw Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long. Like, you don't want to listen to those guys talk pregame. No. You got the two top people in the league giving you some info, some insight, talking shop. That's what you should be listening to pregame.
Exactly. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is great.
I did just really quickly, I'm not going to spend any time on it, but I did just want to bring up that Ryan Jensen now has a 4-pick lead in the pick'em pool.
The king.
And he is the king. He is setting himself apart from the rest of the league right now. And we all need to remember to make our picks.
Oh my God.
Your commissioner forgot again this week to pick his Thursday night pick. I was ready for the game. I had all my fantasy lineup set. I was sitting on the couch before the game.
You would have picked
started.
Carolina anyway. It doesn't matter.
I would have picked Carolina, so it wouldn't have mattered. But last 2 weeks, I didn't make my pick, and I would have picked the wrong team anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's the same thing with last Thursday. I was like, I didn't pick, but I was like, I would have got it wrong. That's fine.
So it's okay. But let's all keep making our picks. Everybody's still doing pretty good. But Jensen is definitely starting to stretch. He's got a four-game lead over second place. And he now has, there's 7 games separating the top 4. So he's starting to kind of stretch his lead amongst that top 4.
Yeah.
So we got to go catch him. He already has $15 banked for the year.
I'm worried about that, retaining that belt. The pick'em. There's no belt for that.
That's just some extra cash to throw
towards
a
sprinkle on top
next year. Yeah,
I don't want to give this belt back. I feel like even if I lose, which I probably won't, I'm going to get my own replica made, because you know how like WWE wrestlers, they lose the belt, but they get to keep their actual belt.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I'm going to like get a replica made, but get some my own plates on it. And I can't just not have a belt on my shelf now. I've had it for a year. I got to get a belt, or else I'm going to have to buy one off WWE shop for $400 or whatever.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Well, if you Well, I guess I'll say something now that I shouldn't say, but if you are the league legend again next year, there might be a permanent
Say no more
title
Say no more
coming your way.
All right. I like the sound. I like the cut of that jib. No one's going to catch me this year in the league legend.
I don't think it's going to happen. I had pulled up those standings really quick, and you have 82 league legend points. John is in second place with 70. So he would need to score 15 more points than you this year, or 13 more, which would mean that he would need to get first place and you would need to be like total crappy.
No.
Or he would need to get second place and you would need to be like bottom of the league.
That's not happening, John.
Yeah, so it looks like you're going to be the league legend for at least one more year.
Try to stay on top as long as I can. I like being a champion. But, it's old commissioner here. He's never taken the gold. He's really trying to make it happen this year, and we have to do everything we can to stop that from occurring.
No. You guys need to do everything you can to help me get my first championship.
No.
To reward me for all the hard work that I've done over the years as commissioner.
It's a nice thought, but that's not the way fantasy works.
You don't just get to win the title when you work hard.
You've never really been like my arch nemesis in this league before, but this year you've definitely turned into it. Picking up the dudes that I want and being undefeated the year after it was my year. I'm just like, this is not sitting right with me. Yes. I need to not. So I'm rooting against you big time every week, but that's how it should be.
All right. Well, you're rooting for Stacy this week. So come on, Stacy, get a big win this week.
Pack that ass up to a victory and let's all celebrate. No more undefeated teams after this week, guys. What do you say, Skolies?
All right. Well, that's our week 7 overview, week 8 preview. Hope you guys have enjoyed having our special guest, Kyle Adams, defending champion, here with us.
Thanks for having me on anytime.
Anytime you want to come talk shop, I am ready to have you on the Skol Report. This was great.
Let's get some more owners on here to talk some strategy too. I'd love to see some other owners come on and give their perspectives. Baker, let's get you on, and I'd love to hear John and Al and everyone else. Let's get some guests on the Skol Report.
I think I can get Baker to get on with me pretty soon. So
just make sure he wears clothes and all that good stuff. Nothing inappropriate. This is a family show. Not really.
That's the problem in the Baker family. It's totally normal. So it's a family show. Yeah. Our family, we get naked.
Oh man, God, I hope this bullshit is over with. We got to have a draft next year. We got to have an end of the year party.
Yeah, man.
I missed it this year big time. So
yeah, for sure.
Let's put our energy into that above all things. Let's have a fucking live draft next year. We got to do it big because this is an anniversary year next year, right?
Yeah, it's going to be our 10th draft.
Do it big. We got to do it
10th
big.
Annual Scully's 2 Football League draft. Oh, you better believe that it's going real big this year. It's going to be good.
Hell yes. All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a long episode, but I hope you stuck around. It's been a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Peace, Stoli. Your champ is here.